Boom. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. A fantastic evening here in Costa Rica. It is Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. approximately. Thank you all for joining us, wherever you happen to be in the world and whatever time it is. Hopefully everything is going smoothly. YouTube tells me currently that my reception is not working out well because I had to switch to my laptop because we're fixing a wall. Anyways, long story short, hopefully this all goes out well. Smash that like button and leave me a little note in the comments letting me know that things are working effectively, because this is kind of like a last minute stream and I wanted to see if it would work. So hopefully it's working. I'll trust you guys to kind of fill me in on that one. If it's not working, let me know, and maybe I'll cancel and start again. But with that in mind, either way, I'm going to wait a few minutes, and I guess we'll just dive in and take a look at Bitcoin. So I wanted to start with Ethereum, not Bitcoin, but Ethereum, just because we'd been. It's funny. I entered a short trade on Ethereum the other day at 588. Right on, almost on the POC line here. I got stopped out at like 604 when it jumped up that other day. I was so upset. this little spiky spike here, yeah, this one stopped me out. It was so close, which is too bad because this was looking out to be a great trade. So right now we saw, again, as soon as you saw this where you couldn't really close above the POC here, this moment at around 594 yesterday. This is a really important moment. Now again, wasn't making a video yesterday. I think I'm going to try to do live video every day at 1 p.m. or pre-recorded video every day at like 10 a.m. Not every day, but when I can. Get them out at specific times so you guys can know when to expect the content and whatnot. But anyways, the point of this is when we could not close above this POC line on the 45 minute, this was a big indicator that we were going to come down. Now, there is some disagreement as to whether Bitcoin and Ethereum are in the same league as each other, but I believe they are. And because of this, they actually act almost identical. So here, keep this in mind as we look at Ethereum. And let's just make sure the stream is going good. Sound is good. Videos look good. Signal is coming good. Yes. Okay, perfect. I can see you live. Okay, awesome. We'll keep going then. So here, I want you to picture this in your mind. We saw one distribution pattern, a reaccumulation, two distribution pattern, and then a drop. So we haven't hit the bottom yet. So a lot of questions are going to be, well, where are we going to find support? When we're looking at something like this, what I wanted to talk about was the potential of this being a trading range. Now, we had talked about this in our private newsletter, and I will make the same concerted actually, let's look out at a bigger frame here. Go to 4 hour to give it a bit clearer. So one of the things we always want to do when we're trading or even investing, I mean, this stuff is so important for investing. Investors can make great use of knowing where you are in the market cycle because it can save you a lot of hassle. Unless you have hundreds of millions of dollars where you can just play. But even still, you saw Michael Saylor's MicroStrategies bought when Bitcoin, when Bitcoin was up at $11,000, which is effectively down here in the LPS range for Ethereum. But we want to start in this macro perspective because it reminds us of two things. Number one, we just finished accumulation, so we're at the very start of a bull run. And number two, where are we in the SOS phases? So even though Ethereum is 2 steps, or like 1 step ahead of Bitcoin, effectively, we'll take a look on the exact same drop now and kind of compare and analyze this. What we want to do is keep building in our mind the importance of understanding accumulation, because effectively all of this area is a good place to be buying more Bitcoin effectively. Is it this one? Jeez, I have so many. There we go. I have so many different Bitcoin charts open. So here you can see the similarities to Ethereum. The only difference is we haven't had the backup phase yet. So part of what we want to do, and what's interesting about Ethereum, is that both of these tops in Bitcoin and Ethereum actually came out looking very similar, which is interesting. Well, why is that interesting? The market cycle right now, and Compman is chewing up this sector like a monster. He's hungry for the crypto sector. And it's good to see because we've been vindicated in all of our long-term beliefs and investment strategies based off, hey, look what we can do. Or more importantly, hey, look what the tech can do. So what I want to look for, and what we originally postulated, was a potential drop down to around 13,000, which would be the top of the trading range, and we've seen this multiple times for our backup phase before. So for those of you that are new to the channel, we study someone called Richard Wyckoff. He's the reason we all like this idea so much is because he was good at, I guess, helping simplify the understandings of market sentiment. So I should have opened the Arcane Bear stuff, but this is what I have in front of me. So this is what we're looking at as an accumulation event. And you have a primary SOS and that comes out an LPS that returns. Now this is just the accumulation area. Now what's unique here again is, remember, this is a multi-year accumulation area, so it's a very, very powerful signal when you see the breakout. It's very easy to rely on. The downside is these backup phases. We don't know how low they can go. With some of the other plays like Fetch, we'd seen the backup phase come all the way back down to the regression line, which would mean $6,000 for Bitcoin. Now I don't think that's going to happen because, again, if we take Ethereum and we take a look at the similar pattern, the backup phase never even came to the top of the trading range. Now, we could get a little bit more, let's say, pragmatic about our trading range here, and you can see that the spike way up here for Ethereum back on this side here in June of 2019, you saw a spike up to around $300. So in some way or another, your automatic rally did actually bring us back to the top of the trading range, right? It's just we had this very obtuse top of the TR effectively. So here again, we're studying accumulation and then the breakout of the accumulation. And after accumulations, you have SOSs, LPSs, SOSs, LPSs, and then huge bull market cycles come in. So we're still in the very early days of this bull market, ladies and gentlemen. Like, you could literally be buying at spot any of these prices and you probably won't care in 6 months. But for those of you, again, or for those of you that are looking to further your interest in studying and in trading, one of the things that we want to do here is get good at finding these kind of peak out moments or these bottoming fearful moments. Now we're in a kind of a stage of euphoria. There's a little bit of uncertainty coming into the markets. I mean, the VIX is up 2.9% today. You see the DXY is strengthening by almost almost a tenth of a percent, not a whole percent, excuse me. So when we're looking and we're taking this kind of macro perspective, we want to do this before we get into any of the minutia, because it's going to help us confidently pick out the trend of the market. Ultimately, on the long term, we're in a bull market, so the trend is always to the upside. It's not until you get to the smaller time frames that you start to look at some of these breakdown moments. And the reason we want to do it isn't because I think you should be trading Bitcoin short or to the downside. It's because as an investor or as a trader, the more you know, the better equipped you can be. So when we take a look at Bitcoin here on the 4 hour, what I want to notice is the potential for this new trading range. So this is what we had gone over before, is what type of trading range are we going to see here? Because it's ultimately, there's 3 main options, and I've went over this 3 times already in my videos. And I think we're either looking at a rising gradient bottom for Bitcoin, which would be something like this. So if I were to draw on the rest, you get a secondary test, maybe you get a spring down, a break above the creek, a backup phase, and then a boom somewhere out near probably March. Actually, this accumulation range will probably take longer. So what's nice about this is we don't need to get too excited. Bitcoin's going to offer us the potential to make some of our final executions, and same with Ethereum, by building a new trading range. We are still in an area of what's likely to be reaccumulation. If you have big companies like MicroStrategy aiming to raise $400 million to accumulate, we can safely say that we are still in the accumulation range. Now, the other potential that would take us down to $13,000 would be this kind of falling accumulation pattern, which we've gone over a few more times now. Again, I think looking at it from a horizontal perspective is always the best, but do recognize that these trading ranges can come down. They can make a secondary test. They could spring down to $13,000 before breaking above the creek and then just, again, kaboom. So the only other alternative that's left at that point, because we are in a bull market, and these are all to the upside potentials, which is fantastic. Like, it's so much fun to have only upside potentials, would be the horizontal trading range. And so we've got, and these are each actually going to give us an indication of how strong the next cycle for Bitcoin is going to be. So, well, actually, there is now a fourth. Now that I think about it, guys, there is a fourth potential. You could see Bitcoin do something very similar to what Ethereum did. And I'm going to draw this in here. Whereas you had this BCALX, the AR, the ST, and then bam, it comes down into a new trading range. That's what Ethereum did. So if you keep an eye on this here, the primary SOS out of Ethereum did exactly this when we were trading it before. So one of the key indicators why we went long in the private group was this exact sentiment. We saw a really hard BCL buying climax in ST and AR, and then this shoot down and smash into this new trading range. And then it wasn't until this smaller SOS and backup phase here that we saw the next big extension out of Bitcoin. So we could actually see a reaccumulation range that has a bigger shakeout in it potentially as well, which would be very interesting to see, right? Again, we don't know what's going to happen. But that's 4 very real, very positive outlooks, all very positive outlooks for Bitcoin. So what this drop represents, unless you're like a shark, it's not to go short. It's, maybe to cover positions with options if you are managing a big portfolio, etc. But more importantly, the opportunity to accumulate one last time and kind of build out any exotic positions that you'd be interested in, maybe for riding out the rest of the market. Now, ideally, all of the exotics you'd want to enter were down here in the $11,000 area, but this backup phase represents, and this new trading range is going to represent that final chance where you have probably limited volatility within the trading range, which means you can watch the secondary test happen a few times, probably within a 5 to 6% ratio near the bottom of the box, effectively, right? So you can play with leverage, you can try to snag those highly engaged opportunities that can take place at these backup phases. So if you didn't build an exotic position down here, which is a great spot, this is your next and final opportunity. We may get one more, so I won't say the finality. Maybe we get an SOS, we get a accumulation range, something like this, as we were talking about. We get another big breakout to say like $40,000 to $60,000, one final LPS down to like 26 grand, and then maybe we make our bull move into much higher highs. So what's fun about this is really trying to identify those last points of supply, because once you do that, and you're headed into a bull market, you can use exotics to your advantage. And if not, if you're just buying spot, you can feel very confident in just buying spot. And that's a hugely valuable thing. So let's take a look at some price support areas for Ethereum here and just make a little bit of common conjecture around the last part of our backup phase. So what we want to do now is just zoom in and let my volume profiler give me the new point of control. So our point of control for this breakout is still down at 380. Are we going to come that low? No, very unlikely. So what's going to happen? Let's actually use the Ethereum perpetuals for this drawing. Yeah. So here on the daily, you'll remember, hopefully, Jesse Livermore, fantastic. Hopefully you guys are doing your homework and you know who I'm talking about. We see this rising kind of megaphone standard. And one of the things that's interesting about this is Jesse Livermore also pointed this one out as kind of one of his areas of last points before accumulation took off. And again, when you have multiple different, not theories, but hypothesis, you want to make sure that you're using it to the advantage, right? So again, you could go short here for a very a small potential. I would not suggest it. Again, if you're a highly engaged professional trader, there's an opportunity to do so, but don't ever think about that as like a newbie or something. We're in the very early stages of bull market, so this potential of a horizontal trading range, a downward facing trading range, a horizontal trading range, or again a rising gradient bottom become the most interesting. So for us, Ethereum here, we can see that the majority of the support that we would hit is around 450. We came down to 490, so we were kind of close. So let's say we draw a horizontal trading range. We come down, we make a test, we jump up, we hit the resistance, we come up against the creek, up until March, we hit a spring, we jump back against the box, the bottom of the microphone down to 460, and then we take off for what might be the start of one of the biggest bull markets we've seen in the entire crypto sector, which is going to be super fun. So that's basically what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the formation of what I suspect will be a new trading range into the horizontal kind of rising megaphone based off the accumulation method that we've been studying for months and months now, based off Wyckoff stuff. Now, for those of you that are part of the private group, I love that. I hope you guys are enjoying the learning process. Please go through and read some of the extra materials that we've left in the book, in the group as well. Things like Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. You should buy that book and download it. I think it's worth every moment that you put into your research and your study. And also, as a good investor, you have lots of time to read. so do it. It's always a great way to go. I'm going to take a look at some of your guys' thoughts and questions now, and we're going to open it up to you guys. I see we have 100 live viewers. Thank you guys all. Give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying this content. If you're new to the Bear family, please remember to hit the subscribe button. I want to, I'll take a look at some of your guys' questions now. Okay, let's take a look here. We'll scroll up. BTC to 69 grand. Yep, probably higher. I would guess maybe even higher. 530 to 480. Yeah, 460 is the bottom of support for Ethereum. That's a good one. Good morning. How's it going? Yes, good to see you guys. Thank you for joining us today. Signal is coming in great. Perfect. I would never shorten a bull market. Yes, that's I agree with this. You want to be finding positions to go long. These moments to know that you should be short is really just a confidence builder to know that you should be finding more positions to go long in these new trading ranges. Let's see. Support is here for Bitcoin. Yeah, I think I think right here. Oh, it looks like I'm out of sync. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, it must be. I moved to the laptop, and for some reason, it doesn't have the same settings as my regular computer, and I don't know why it's not working. So I apologize for that if it's lagging or it's coming through ineffectually. We're finishing a wall. Like if you look on the other side of me, it looks like a Dexter's lab, or like a. Here, actually, I'll show you guys for fun, just because we're. Okay. So here you can see all of this plastic. You can't see, but in there is a new wall. So currently I'm trying to build like a new stuff up and whatnot. But because of that, I'm on my laptop, and my laptop I don't usually use for streaming. So if it is lagging, I do apologize. Yeah, it was running great the other day, so it's probably just the laptop. I'm sure it's some settings, like YouTube tried to warn me. It's like, oh, you're running at 1080p. It's like, there's no other option. You want me to run at 720? This is 2020. 1080p minimum, YouTube. What do you mean not optimal? I have 50 megabits a second up and down. Okay, let's not get lost off topic here. Let's go ahead and we'll give you guys the screen back, and what we'll do is we'll just dive back into some general market assertions here, and hopefully it isn't lagging too much. Hopefully you guys can make sense of it. And actually, I'll give you the video on full screen. Actually, okay. So we're looking again. We want to remind ourselves we're in a bull market. Okay, check. We're looking for the formation of a new trading range. Check. We are in great standing. Think about how many people don't own Bitcoin or don't know anything about crypto. We're still the first people here. Now we're being vindicated by all the big money, which is fantastic, because instead of being the crazy weirdos who like internet money, we were right. And that's kind of a nice feeling. No, I guess piously it's a nice feeling. Maybe I'll go with that. And financially, it's a nice feeling too. So maybe it's less pious because we were right, and the checkbook looks this. It's like, okay, great. don't need your. I never did. Okay, so what are some of the things that we want to look out for now? We've talked about this a few times. It's that in general, I think being patient for the springtime is ultimately going to be where we see the next stages of our bull market. We've seen our SOS occur. We're likely going to have a trading range form, a whole new trading range, up much higher than we were when we were down at 11 grand or $380 for Ethereum. And then we're going to see probably a breakout come springtime. And for any of you that have studied the Wyckoff methodology more in depth, you will know to some degree why. What we're doing is looking for psychological standpoints of people. So computers are often trading these. People are the ones who want the profits. And funds, whether they're firms or big money managers like Medallion and Renaissance by Jim Simmons and his lovely crew of scientists, big money comes in here to play to make more alpha, not to help you out, not to make you more money. So often these markets are kind of almost designed to take money away from you. To some degree or another. So you end up doing the wrong thing because as a human, you are taught to look for things that are valued and that represent that value. You're taught that because you look for a partner who has their shit together, this kind of thing. You don't look for a partner who's been dragging along on the bottom of their trading range for a few years, right about before they're about to explode into some new serendipitous area of them being under demand and very, very limited supply because there's only one of them. Anyways, horrible take on partners, I'm sure. But the important part is to understand that we're not built to look for things that are dragging around on the bottom of the ground before they explode. We're designed to look for them after they've exploded. We're like, yeah, look, that person's got their together. Aim over there. So the markets, the psychology of the markets are designed to kind of screw with you. That's why we have this idea of, is there fear or greed in the markets? Now, we've been hitting a point where there is a bit more greed in the markets because, okay, we'll go back to Bitcoin here. We're in our SOS phase. You hear of big companies day over day buying Bitcoin, and the price makes no reaction over 20 grand. Big supply keeps coming in. So it I think very clearly insinuates that we're going to form a trading range. Now, the only reason we do all this study is so you can take advantage of these trading ranges. If you're new to investing, just keep investing. Welcome to the world. Invest weekly, monthly, whatever you can afford to do. Put money into something that you find interesting. At that point, investing could be anything, but you want to generally put that capital into assets that can go to work for you, right? There's a huge amount of value that's accrued from something that produces more wealth. Like Tesla is worth almost trillions or something plus now. It's because it created more wealth for the planet. That's kind of the idea behind it, right? So it's not necessarily designed to be a store value. It can go up dramatically because of that wealth generating aspect. So when we're looking at assets, it's things that you find in the crypto space interesting for quite some time because it offers a lot of unique solutions to a lot of awkward problems I think we're having and will continue to have in the financial sector and in the world at large. We see Visa, Partner, and PayPal all getting into the crypto space. This is going to massively reduce the cost. They're going to be able to offer more products and services. Potentially, who knows? Could you imagine if you're earning APY at PayPal? That would be ridiculous if all of a sudden they're outperforming all the banks by orders of magnitude. That would be crazy. Just think about just even something simple like that. So when we're up this high, we've got all this good news and we're peaking out. It really represents the formation of a new trading range. Now we're quite high up. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to really wait until I see some more formation in this trading range. Because again, when we were back here, back at $11,000, we were charting to 17,000 and a return to 13,000. That was kind of our original drawing. We had said that day after day after day after day since June, pretty much. Actually, no, not since June, since July and August, because in June we had this trading range. This is what really convinced me we were entering a bull market, was this buck up, this kind of reaccumulation range. This was a big moment too, because this is the first time I learned what reaccumulation was, not just accumulation, but these intermediary smaller accumulation patterns after you've had a cycle tick up. This is also a form of reaccumulation, very similar to what we saw on Ethereum, where you had the top trading range and then a bottom trading range almost separately. So now we're looking for reaccumulation again. Bitcoin is going to go a lot higher after this. So again, you focus on things that are interesting to you and you invest in them frequently so that you can continue to be interested. I don't like to get too hype about, there's some very easy indicators. Let's take a look at this one. So some of you guys have asked why I don't normally look at log charts. It's because I'm looking at log charts for me, I think bring a much better picture for when I'm looking at a multi-year event. Like I'm like, okay, I want to look at the 1 week. That's when I go to my trusted old log chart. It's because I want a lot more data and I want to be able to see that data relative to percentage instead of price, so that there's a more affection of this isn't enough data here, but this will kind of do. Yeah, this will do. Okay, so here we're looking at the weekly log chart on Bitcoin. One of the things that we've gone over many times before, so all the way since back in 2018, and one of the reasons why we didn't get all too hyped up when Bitcoin ran to $13,000 the first time, was this was effectively an automatic rally from here to here. But more importantly, what we didn't see And I'm gonna highlight this right now because I think this is extremely important, especially with where we are. So, I wish there's more data on this chart, but I'm just going to use it for now. So, here you can see the white line. This white line is the 21 moving average on the weekly on log chart. This weekly log chart, 21 moving average, to me represents the clearest picture for a healthy bull market that I think you can see. You have a touch here. You have a touch here. You have touches here, 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 and then finally breaks away. So these are all SOS, LPS, SOS, LPS, SOS, LPS, effectively what we've been looking at and talking about with the other changes. But more importantly, it was this touch on the 21 moving average that really signaled, oh my God, this is it. We are here. We're not only above the 21, but we touched it. Like the big boys who are in charge are forcing us back down to really check the supply here. Now let's take a look at that. Where would that put us? That would put us around $13,200. I think we're gonna go there. Maybe not 13,200, maybe 14,500, but somewhere within this range. Because for me, when we can, and we'll go back again. For some of you who have been following the channel for the lifespan of the channel, some of you have, but if you have, you will remember this moment. I was in Malaysia. We saw this first jump. This first jump out of this rising gradient trading range. It was very beautiful. This breakout, and then this kind of topple down. Now, when we didn't touch the 21 moving average here at all, especially when we got past $6,000, I was like, this is an unhealthy market. We are coming back down. Like, do not worry. Like, do not FOMO buy up this high. I promise we are coming back down. And we did. We came back down to around 7,000 and 3,000. Now, again, we could speculate and say, look, guys, anything here in this range is part of the accumulation range, so it's worth buying, right? You're still in the accumulation range. It's all gravy. So don't worry about it. Just keep averaging in over time. But this 21 moving average test, okay, so let's go so far as to say, because I'm not using your regular candle chart, that we have a wick that actually comes down here and touches the 21, this white one. So actually, maybe I'll even turn those off. If you guys are new to TradingView, go to arcanebear.com/TradingView and sign up for TradingView. Use this 3MA if you have not paid for one. Let's see if I can, we'll just use the 21 for now. Yes, okay, so here's 20, and let's assume that we touched it here because there's probably a wick that shows up there. I think we're going to come back down to touch it. Seems pretty likely to me. I mean, look how we could get another quick spike up, especially when we're looking at it the weekly right now. We could get that, like that little blip to 23,000 before making a trading range. And then again, all we want to do is recognize two things. We're in a bull market. Check. Okay, perfect. We're bullish in our bias for the next, like, at least 12 months, we'll say 12 to 18 months, bullish in our bias format from like here on out. That's exciting. We haven't had that since 2017. So what does this represent? We want to know how close we get to this so we can strategically build the rest of our exotic plays. Or again, if you're just spot buying, buy with confidence, knowing that we are in the very early stages of a bull market. Okay, so that was the kind of conjecture I wanted to go over because some of you guys have been asking about the log chart and why I wasn't drawing with the log. So I won't draw with log when I'm looking for exotic entries because I'm looking at a linear time frame. I'm looking at day-to-day time frames, whereas on a weekly time frame, a longer time frame, the log chart to me makes a lot more sense. Now, that's up to debate, but the point of it is when you're looking at these smaller time frames, the importance of the percentage of the price movement is not even relevant compared to seeing the price structure back at $200. It's not relevant information to me. But what is relevant to here right now for us to all to recognize is go to your weekly chart, go to your log, set up your 21 moving average, and keep it on there. Keep an eye on it because here we start to close below it, we broke down. Here we start to close above it is when we break out. It's a very, very nice chart. I really like that one. It's a really simple way to look at a bull market, I think. Are we closing above the 21 and touching it? Have we done that multiple times? Good. The next time it touches it, buy a lot more. Okay, let's take a look at some of your guys' questions. We'll leave Bitcoin open here on the log chart. For any of you guys that are wondering why I use the area chart instead of the candles is because I'm kind of like a stupid monkey. And if I have too many things that distract me, that are taking place, I won't be as confident. Here, it's just a really simple. All I'm looking for is a horizontal trading range and a breakout above that trading range and then a close above it, likely right here before a massive breakout. Makes trading or investing so much simpler because I'm not like, oh, it's a head and shoulders and blah, 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 blah. You're talking about stuff that is not even relevant in a bull market to some degree. At least on the long term, it's like relevant for 4 hours or something silly. I don't know. Seems kind of abstract to me. Okay, so let's take a look at questions. We have 163 people online right now. Again, so I use this area chart because it makes me think about less. Like here, look at the candles. Ooh, so much extra data. And like, oh my God, it's going down, it's going up. These aren't even funny. It's not even in green and red. It's Lakers colors. But I like this area chart because it really hones down to just showing me the average of the price based off of the time zone that I'm in. So right now, because I'm looking at the weekly, it's showing me the weekly close. That's it. No wicks, no bodies, no nothing, just the weekly close. And when I remove that data, I feel more confident about making a decision effectively. So that's in case you guys want to know. Okay. OMG. Okay. Yeah. Let's take a look at OMG. Good. That's a good one. That's a plasma scaling solution for Ethereum. I do believe if we were to go to Etherscan, you can find out that that's something that Vitalik Buterin maybe owns a bunch of. So 14K bottom by our birthdays. I'm looking for March. I'm looking for springtime start of the bull market. Somewhere around there, when people become more confident about the winter season ending and the election drama or whatever is happening. I don't know. By the way, I really, I don't want to get political again here, but you guys should keep an eye on these hearings. I don't know, again, I hate when you go to try to just listen to something and learn. And, you hear a woman who owns a Forbes top 50 up-and-coming company, and she's signed an affidavit and sitting at a hearing telling her story about how she thinks things were mismanaged. It's a little worrying. Like, I'm not an American, but it really degrades the relationship between the American people or the United States citizens and their voting system. I mean, they look, if they audit it, they may find out that it's been a fraud for a decade plus. Maybe the fraud has been more widespread and rampant than anyone ever imagined. I think what's interesting is that if I were an American citizen, I would be like, wait a second. This is an opportunity for us to all kind of start over, and let's make sure everything's working before we move forward into a much more technocratic place. I'm very disturbed by the censorship that goes on in the major mainstream media when they obviously don't know what they're talking about. They get things wrong. They silenced people in the early days of the pandemic talking about how it was airborne before the best information comes out at the tip of the bleeding edge of the spear. And sometimes we might be wrong, but if you cut off the access for people to share that stuff and fact check it, it is an absolute degradation of society. And the United States citizens should put a halt on all the crap that's going on right now, because it needs to be fixed sooner rather than later. I'm a Canadian citizen, and I'm scared to go back to Canada. They're arresting people for opening their businesses. This is dangerous people are playing with in these times. Anyways, I wanted to get into that only because what's important here isn't the political aspect. It has nothing to do with what I believe. It has only to do with the volatility that this may add to the markets, because that to us makes a difference in the price, and that's all I care about, is making money during all this nonsense. So with that in mind, we're actually going to take a look at the volatility index and the VIX. We're going to go back to my regular auto chart here, and we are going to take a look at the daily. And again, the reason why I'm kind of bringing this up is to go over something specific, and that is the importance of volatility in the markets, because volatility is kind of bad for us unless you're short, and that's a positive. But here we're looking at the volatility. So Let's take a look and kind of go through these moments here. So, whoa, pandemic, ultimate fear moment. This represents like the best time to buy. These fear moments are the best times to buy. So what would be interesting is if we had another spike into the fear moment here on the volatility index, and if Bitcoin is at 13,000, 14,000, even 15,000, you have a volatility spike for any reason. I have no idea what will do it. So something's gonna scare humanity here in the future. Yeah, look at that Ethereum down at 552, Bitcoin at 18,273. I love watching the price go down right now because it's a bull market. Yes, push that price down, push that price down. We hit some of those ridiculous buys we have. Okay. So what I'm looking for, again, when we're using the VIX, and what I was trying to go over there, even though I think it's an important conversation, nonetheless, what's important to us in this group and in the bear family is understanding its relationship with our potential to make more money. So we had a pandemic peak fear moment. We had riots, I think. Yeah, June. We had more scare stuff, and then the elections. So each one of these peaks represents something in the moment of the history of the human species that kind of like freaked everybody out. And I bet you if we were to look, these would represent buying opportunities to some degree or another. That's what the VIX generally represents to us. So we've actually been following into an area of euphoria because we've been going back. Look, here's October. Okay, let's zoom back here because this is just ridiculous, right? This is November 4th, 2019. In November 4th, 2019, I was in Bali, flew there business class, rented a home with some of my friends. Everybody was doing great. We were riding around motorcycles, dancing with women around like 8 girls to every guy around fires in Bali, drinking cacao and like screaming at the moon. It was amazing. That was like peak euphoria. And we were way down here in the volatility index. And look at this, lo and behold, somehow we are almost back to that. The human consciousness has gotten so okay with how up things are that we're almost back to where we were when we were like partying. In the world of volatility index, that makes no sense. It's very illogical. But I think what's happening is we're getting more and more used to our new kind of day-to-day tomfoolery of life, and these new changes that we're having to deal with. So the volatility index has dropped. I'm looking for one more spike. It probably coalesces here right before March, and then as soon as March comes down, we come even lower. So again, I only wanted to bring that up because I don't like the censorship that's taking place because there should just be none. There should just be none. You should let people say all sorts of stupid shit. Fuck, unless it's like an obvious hate crime or they should be allowed to call people names and make fun of one another because we're all stupid monkeys. Like we all need to be able to recognize that we're stupid monkeys. Like we don't know anything. Like anything where we think where we think we know better is just us being pious, chest beating monkeys. So we should give people the freedom to make the mistakes. And we've been seeing less and less of that as we move forward. And it's very discouraging because it means maybe people want to make less mistakes when mistakes are kind of what help us learn. Anyways, I don't want to get too far off conversation here. Yes, look at these price drops. Okay, I love this moment. This is I wish I had my short open still. That's okay. That's okay. You use a stop loss. I followed a good strategy. It didn't work out for me as well as I hoped because it closed me out of my position. I went short here. I went short at 590 and I got wicked out closed at 604. I thought we were going to turn down right here. I really did. And then the last 2 days I've been away from the computer, so I couldn't take advantage of it, but it looks like pretty clear distribution. So a big part of the question is for both Ethereum and Bitcoin, well, how low do we go? Do we form a new horizontal trading range? Okay, let's take a look at some of your guys' questions here, and we'll keep ranting because I've made my conjecture, I've made my assertion, and I'm going to stick by that probably for the next 3 months. Now that we're dropping again, I'm just like, yes. Oh no, we're about to hit my stop on my link trade though. That's okay. That's okay. I stopped out in a slight profit for my link trade, ladies and gentlemen. Been sitting in it for almost a month. It's going to close out and just cover the cover the interest of the play probably. Anyways, unimportant. You want to build a strategy, follow that, and kind of ignore the price to some degree. It's easier on your mind. Okay. Lots of thoughts coming in here. Okay. Chicago Brew says, you had me with mandatory vacations. Oh, yes. Thank you, guys. This is a really fun tweet. I want you to go to Twitter right now. If you are not on my Twitter, go follow me on Twitter. You're going to like this. So the other day on Twitter, thanks to Abigail, shout out to Abigail Bolenbach, by the way. I love that woman so much. I think she's amazing, but shout out to her. She shared this with me. I thought it was fantastic. I did not write this myself, but you can't post that someone made it because it would ruin the effect. But if you go to Twitter, I want you to read that. Just read it right now. What do you think? How does that make you feel? What's interesting is how quickly our brain jumps to make a judgment. By the time you get to 100% pro mandatory this is it. A lot of people have already made up their mind. If you go to and you scroll through this and you look at how many people got confused thinking this says I'm 100% pro mandatory vaccinations when it says 100% pro mandatory vacations. To show the depth of which we are all kind of culturally bred into some type of conditioning, whether it's for or against an idea. I don't think it really matters on which side of the proposition you were on. The fact that so many of us, myself included, jump to so Abigail shared this with me, and I immediately noticed it said vacations, but I read slowly because I'm not in like. Half my job is to be on the internet all the time, so I'm not just scrolling. I'm usually looking. I'm trying to figure something out. I'm like, if I'm looking at a friend's post, it's because I find what they post valuable, and I take more than. Anyways, this kind of really quick moving moment, I thought it was really fun to share because it reminds us about the judgmental patterns that we build in from because of the conversation that's going on in the global sphere right now. So follow us on Twitter for all things ridiculous where I try to mess with us. We had another good one the other day. I'm trying to be funnier in my own life lately. What was the other one? There was another great one here. Let's hold on. We won't spend too much time here on Twitter, but I just wanted to go over this if I could find it. It doesn't matter. Anyways, follow us on Twitter. I post funny things. Sometimes I post valuable things, but I often post funny things. Yeah, like this one. If the data doesn't fit your theory, what do? You just change the data, guys. Come on, it's 2020. Anyways, silly crap. Okay, back to the charts. Yeah, I love seeing this price drop. This is great. We're gonna find out how low we go now on these next ones. So this is fantastic. Find more long sessions. Dot, would love to hear your opinions. Okay, I'm assuming that's about Polkadot. So I don't know much about Dot. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. It's a layer 2 solution. Right now I'm going to look at it versus US dollar, not Bitcoin, just because I've had a kind of a change of heart since the DeFi sector started. Still, it makes it more difficult, but it's okay. We'll go over it. I don't know how to analyze Dot from a fundamental level, so we'll look at it from a technical level. Wow, it actually looks like something really unique could be happening here. If look at this. Whoever brought Dot up, thank you for that. I'm going to actually drag this to the top of my screen because I want to keep an eye on it. If this is Polkadot, it actually looks like it's forming a much bigger... Oh, no. What just happened? Okay, there we go. Yay, good. I thought I was going to have to redraw all those. So here's something interesting. Now, guys, I want to go over this because it's a great learning lesson. Cup and handle. So first off, if you're new to trading and you see anybody draw a cup and handle on anything less than 3 weeks, they're full of shit. They have no idea what they're talking about. Now, we could make an argument that I'm full of shit, which is a very real possibility about pretty much 99% of the things, right? I mean, if I even knew 0.01% of something, that's pretty damn good. I won't even give myself that much credit. But more importantly, you need time for these bigger patterns to take place because these are all accumulation ranges. An accumulation pattern should take weeks to months, not days. If they're shorter on the days, they're almost irrelevant. They could go either way. They can be invalidated at the drop of a hat. So if you're looking at a cup and handle in any way, shape, or form, it should be weeks or months. Well, perfect. Look at this for Dot. Here we see 85 days. Good. That fits our month pattern for a cup and handle, and we're seeing the handle form. So I'm actually going to go ahead, and I'm going to set some triggers here on Dot because, well, A, it's probably a good time to be accumulating, but B, it looks like it's about to form a multi-month cup and handle. So a break above the handle here at $5 could represent a big move. So again, we can kind of go over this, guys, which I think is important. We're looking at trading ranges, right? So fundamentally, you saw your automatic rally, as we've studied your automatic rally, your secondary test. Here's your spring, well, this area actually, and then a breakup. We could maybe make an argument here that this was your kind of your LPS. You're going to see another LPS here, or an smaller SOS, minor LPS, and then a breakout above the box, and then much higher. So DOT is looking really good. If I were to play here, I would play with the stop loss, or more importantly, I would actually wait until the top of the trading range is going to complete on this cup and handle. Let's see if I have these drawn on here. Reaccumulation, Wyckoff crypto. Is it this one? No. Accumulation. Does this have all my drawings? Yes, I believe it does. So I want to see if I can open this. I don't know if I have this on this computer. Let's find out. Yes, okay, it does. This is, I want to go over the cup and handle here. So accumulation, like this schematic of accumulation here is very similar to what we're looking for, is a cup and handle to move through the trading range on a multi-week or multi-month basis. It's effectively what we're trying to do here. So we fit those. We fit some of those categories here. We see our spring most likely right here. So I would keep an eye on DOT. I've got my indicators set now, but again, a break above that trading range and another like a primary LPS or SOS and LPS would be a great signal here for DOT. Fundamentally speaking, I'm not smart enough to say at this particular moment what I think about DOT as like a layer 1 protocol, but in general, from an investment standard, I think you should be building a portfolio that has think about it more like venture capital, right? You put a small amount of money in something like that if it becomes successful, it's worth 100x more. Well, great. Just leave that as a small cap. Much easier to manage than just throwing a bunch of money in it. Put $50 in it if you think it's cool. Walk away. Forget about it. If you're interested in it, just put a little bit in it. Don't wait. Don't think, oh, I need 10 grand in there or 100 grand. Put $50 in there, something, because that will quench your thirst to hit that buy button on Polkadot if that need be. That's what the investor should always be doing. Always trying to acquire more. Okay, so hopefully that helped with DOT. Let's take a look. So glad I kept my short open at 19,300. Great, awesome. Yeah, I'm so upset I got closed out of my short on on Ethereum there. It was almost the perfect trade position too, you know? Like it wasn't it was a very well-timed position. I just apparently my stop was too tight. Oh, one sec, guys, I'm going to turn the light on here. Okay, so let's take a look at a few more ideas here. It's been going on for decades. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. I don't know. I think the fun part of what the American community has, or the United States citizens have as an opportunity, is to ask that question. And I don't even care. It makes no difference to me. I think the important part is that, wait, has there been fraud going on, and for how long and how much? Because I don't think anyone has asked that question and really gone into it. When you listen to these hearings and these people have no idea what the ballot box said, you're like, wait, how do you not know any of that data at all? Wait, the machines weren't bought by you? Or like, just there's so many holes. There's so many holes in those stories. Anyways, I think it could be a great opportunity for the American people to ask if they've been maybe defrauded for a long time, not just this year. Maybe it's been longer. And maybe this was just the perfect time to be able to take advantage of a giant gaping loophole in the system. Anyways, I don't want to rant too much. My main concern there is the volatility in the markets that might bring between here and March. Convinced of the price increase last week, I brought Ethereum. Oh, wow. I don't know why you would want to buy. Okay, so here, Joseph Malden says, I'm convinced the price last week. Okay, well, we didn't think it was going up. I would have been bearish on all of my videos so far at this height. At 610 per Ethereum, and all I do is pray to God the price goes up again. Look, if you're in spot, I can assume just be patient. It will scare you though. Get ready to hold on for your first roller coaster because it sounds like you're new here. Just be patient. I think Ethereum and Bitcoin are going a lot higher, but it could come down to 480 right now. So 460, maybe even 420. Who knows? It could scare you. The markets love making people fearful. That's like what they're good at. They've designed themselves to do that. So just be patient on that play. But yeah, that was not a time to be buying up the top there. I think it was pretty obvious that we were peeking out all that good news and not any price movement at all. Okay, so just be patient. Not investment advice. Okay, so Ann Moore says, I've been mining and holding Ethereum since 2017. I am 100% belief Ethereum will hit $1,000. Just be patient. Great, Ann. Love that. Yeah, staking Ethereum too. We should do a video on that one. I've just been super busy. It's a fucking jungle. So difficult sometimes. I might have to find a secondary home, guys. Okay. Get political. I love it. Thanks. Just very shortly. I wanted to put my thought out there. I love listening to these things. I love data. I'm like plugging away, listening to these hearings. These people have very real concerns. That the woman, top 50 Forbes companies, she has no reason to sign an affidavit and go out of there and talk shit just because. It's like a horror, like that makes zero sense. That's like me. If I were to sign one, if I sign an affidavit saying some shit, you better believe me because I'm going out of my way. Like no, most of the time, like, nah, I don't want nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with it. Just at least listen to the people. You know, I hate how they brought that blonde girl up and like, oh, they're star witness. It's like, man, you had an Indian woman. The only reason they didn't show her videos is because she said everyone was being racist against the white people. Like, it's so crazy. Oh God, I like that woman, and she was charismatic. I thought I clapped for her when she said that. I thought she was hilarious. Anyways, okay. Let's take a look at a few more guys' questions before I rant there. Not sure I agree. Smart man learns from others' mistakes. Less effort, same goal. Please tell us if you think the season of altcoins will start. I don't want to. I try to focus on very few things now. In terms of an investment strategy, you want to just always be investing. So I wouldn't worry about one single price too much. In terms of like, is the altcoin season going to be produce X? Why not just go and buy DeFi perpetuals on arcanebear.com/FTX and sign up for your FTX account or arcanebear.com/BlockFi. Thank you to one of our show partners for supporting us. You know, guys, again, you can find access to easier ways to play the larger, broader market because of things like what FTX has provided. So check it out. At least think about it. But it's because it's going to be easier than picking like, oh, I'm just going to buy Avalanche or Polkadot. You can actually buy a basket of them. We kind of went over that in this month's private newsletter as well. So if you put 3 Bitcoin on BlockFi, another shout out to our show partner, does it charge interest? No, you get interest back. No, you get interest on the Bitcoin that you put there. They don't make you pay to keep it there. I don't know what that question means. We are under massive propaganda that is not contained in North America. So yes, mines are on the edge. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. We are in an informational warfare. Absolutely. The fact that the mainstream media says there's no evidence, again, that Indian woman to me was just, again, okay, I look at this person. You're running a Forbes up-and-coming top 50 company. You got like all these things going for you, and you're going to go out of your way to sign some bullshit that could like have you thrown in jail for perjury. Nah, there's something else here. You know, you got to listen to people like that. They're not, and the mainstream media does nothing to cover it. It's very disturbing. They just poke fun at the blonde girl who wasn't as articulate as the other woman, but they all said the same thing. It's like, okay. Thank you guys. I appreciate this. Have you seen BCH is going higher? Yeah, in a bull market, everything kind of goes higher, but BCH hasn't caught up with Bitcoin by any means. What if Bitcoin is going to right now to $24,000? Yeah, it's not going to do that. I mean, it'd be interesting. Let's take a closer look at the 4-hour here on Bitcoin and make some conjecture, because I'm pretty sure we're coming down lower. Yeah, we broke out of this pennant we had drawn and shared in the private group. I do believe we're going to form a new trading range. Again, the question of just is, where does that trading range take shape? We could be in it now. You know, this is going to be a really interesting moment to watch. Are we in the trading range, in the new trading range now, right? Does it not go that much lower? Does it only come down to 18,000 and not break down to 13,000? I'm not sure, but we're going to have to wait and find out. Once these trading ranges start to form, and we know, is it a horizontal or a rising gradient or like a bull flag kind of trading range as well, it becomes all the more important. But for now, we don't know, so we watch patiently, and as soon as he gives us a signal that the bottom of that trading range is formed, yeah, we go in hard, boys. Okay, let's see. Come on, open the OMG graph. Okay, OMG and Digibyte. Okay. I'm gonna drink some coffee first. Okay. OMG on the daily. It's finalizing it look, backup, or SOS backup. SOS backup, SOS backup. Looks like a point of last point of support. Omisego is a layering solution for Ethereum. Obviously Ethereum has legs. And you see a potential regression line forming here. So maybe we return to this regression line. Either way, we could actually hypothesize that we see something very similar to what Ethereum did, where you had this this reaccumulation range here that was something like this. Two-step accumulation. This actually looks very similar, to be honest. I'll set an alarm here for $4.39 on OMG in case it closes above this trading range. I think that's going to be could be a very powerful potential for sure. Okay, Digibyte. We'll go through these quickly. Can you hear my dog whining in the background? He's hungry. Sorry, buddy. You don't get to eat until I'm done. Until Dada is done making a video, because you don't get fed. Oh, I know. So hard done by. Actually, let's take a DGB to Bitcoin. Might be a little easier. Okay, well, let's kind of rip through these last questions. Down at 108. I've started to trade a little differently. I just focus on one or two big trades at a time. I don't know why such small amount of data is showing up for Digibyte here. Must be because Binance has not had it for that long. Oh, am I only showing Binance? Is that why? Yes. All exchanges. Bitcoin. Bittrex. Okay. Should give us more data. Okay. Yeah, there we go. There's our old charts. We didn't break above this trading range. Here you go. Look at that. See this regression line we were butting up against here? We broke through it. And then as soon as we closed down, we broke down and have continued down. We're down near the top of the back of the trading range. So there could be potential here, but at this moment, with how many things are going on in the DeFi sector and how much momentum has come out of the DeFi sector, that's effectively where I'm going. Hey, Kelly, hacer poco carne por él en el refri? Sí, esta ahorita bien, que se la puede hacer. No, hacer ahorita y después poco carne, sí. Gracias. Okay, so effectively we've come back down to the top of the trading range here for Ethereum, which it doesn't look too great yet, but again, this is why this was a big UTAD. It looked like it was going to have a breakout here too, because we were like, oh, is this a rising gradient bottom? But look, bang, couldn't close above. This should have been a moment to get out. I actually closed all my positions, and I think in DGB at 240. I remember posting that in our private newsletter as well. I closed out almost all my positions, and I started focusing on just exotic longs on Ethereum and Bitcoin, because that's like the time of the season right now. It could switch again as Bitcoin and Ethereum go sideways here through these trading ranges. It could represent a new point to trade. Okay, a bunch more questions I see. I'll scroll through. Yeah, I want to go back to that. For that blonde girl that was talking at the Michigan hearings, I hate how they portrayed here. I watched the entire market. She's just trying to do what she thinks is right. Okay, maybe she's not the most articulate, but you had multiple people say the exact same thing from many different walks of life, and it's rude to single someone out. The media has been rude and disgraceful. The senators that were sitting at that hearing were rude and disgraceful. It's a travesty to see these, anyways, I don't get too much. Where is ETH and Aave heading to? Currently down, but in the long run up. We've got a podcast with Stanny from Aave on Friday, so keep your eyes out for that. It'll come out next week. Theta will be the ETH killer. Not even close. Not even close. Yeah, I don't think people know how distribution works. You know how much time it takes to gain a user base or some shit like that? Theta is they're nowhere near, and Ethereum's already en route to 100,000 transactions per second. I don't know what you're talking about. More like Ethereum is the Theta killer, potentially. But Theta token is already even an ERC20 token. They didn't have the data to build a blockchain to even have it ready by the time they launched to raise money. They're using an ERC20 token. What is the real chance of your Ethereum coming to $1,000? Yeah, it's very real. I'm very scared because I just bought too much of it at a high price. What? Look, guys, I want to make an example of you, Joseph. If you're buying something at a price and it's too high where you are worried that if you made a mistake, you fucked up, okay? Because you did it all wrong. You're supposed to be buying weekly or monthly, not just spend it all at once so you can get an aggregate of money entered over time. If you don't know what you're doing and you just spend it all and then it goes down and then you exit and you lose a position, you are getting played by the markets. If you bought and you thought that was a good price, you sit down, you shut the fuck up and you wait until the price comes back or you let it go to zero, because if you were not playing with a plan of any type at all, it's going to burn you. Period. And that's no better way to learn than having that feeling of money go down money go down the drain. So look, I think Ethereum is going a lot higher. We're at the very beginning of a bull market, Joseph. I've said this countless times. Don't make that mistake again. If you did something stupid, learn from it now. Don't try to correct it when it's too late. It's too late to correct it. You shouldn't have entered. We were at the top. It was kind of obvious, I thought. So don't make those mistakes. Just buy every week. So you're like, yeah, you probably didn't even buy that. Like, it's probably like I bought like $1,000 worth. You got like 2 Ethereum, some shit. Stop being a pansy. You can always make more money, Joseph. Theta's Netflix on the blockchain. Yeah, I don't agree with this. I think that there's much better solutions than Theta already out on the playlist, and they have big backers too. Anyways, that's my thoughts. I don't see anything where Theta has provided something that we don't already have out there. I've gone to their network distribution. It's crap. I would much rather post on YouTube. I love YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, for being so awesome and providing a distribution platform for almost 2 decades now. You guys are fantastic. Without you, we'd have no PewDiePie. We'd have no Mr. Beast. And thank you to all the content creators who made YouTube what it is, because that's the most valuable part, are the content creators. I think Roll is much more likely to outpace on what they're trying to build than Theta, because Theta has all the problems built in to it that YouTube has, which means that, oh, look, we started Theta, so we have the most Theta token. Well, you guys, that's the worst bullshit ever. The most important part of any platform is going to be the content creator, and you in no way have rewarded those people for what they've done, and you don't even have distribution. I don't see Theta working out in the long run. Is it tradable in the short term? Hell yeah. We saw some great gains on it in the short term, but in the long term, I don't think so. Okay, wait, let's see here. Alex says, where's your face? So I kind of messed up. I had this screen. I had this one open. It's too bright in here. It's too bright in here, guys. We'll go back to my face. We'll end off here. This is my rant about Theta. I mean, maybe they're successful. Maybe I'm ultimately wrong. Who knows? But I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And I've been thinking about stuff like this for a while. I mean, I see how people could trade it and you could make money in the short term, but in the long term, does it actually represent something new? You'd have to show me some pretty convincing data, because at this point there are like a lot of better options from what I can tell. To look at Link or OXT. Alex, just because you're asking, I will look at Link as one of these final ones. Theta can have massive member distribution through Samsung partnership. No, nobody's going to get on a new Samsung app that doesn't exist. No, like, look, I've got a Samsung phone right here. You can tell, you know how many times I use the Samsung applications? 0 times. I use YouTube on my phone if I want videos. And if I want music, I use YouTube Music. They're not going to be able to outpace that. You know, Spotify was really smart by taking a niche and focusing solely on the podcasts. That was a huge win for them. They found an underserved niche and they served that niche very, very well. But even still, you saw DLive try to take PewDiePie in. You see Theta try to do that with other content creators. And where does it go? It goes nowhere. The distribution layer already exists. Now, if they find a niche that they can hone into, and they're like, yeah, just video gamers or something, and they can be like a Twitch, right? Twitch doesn't supplant YouTube at all, but it's where all the video game streamers go. So maybe there's like a new layer of streamers that focus only on going into Theta. But for now, I just don't see it. They don't have anywhere near the distribution you would get for me to care. I don't care if you're paying me for my content. My content can go out to hundreds of thousands of people potentially. If I make this video and it goes well and hundreds of thousands of people see it, that would never happen on Theta. Just the way it's at right now. And the views to me are worth way more money than getting paid in some Theta token. The hell do I care about the token? I want people to watch my videos. Or maybe I don't. I mean, I do like making videos just period, even if you guys didn't watch them. Okay. What is a roll coin you say is better? Roll is not a coin, but you can check them out as a company. They create individual tokens for all the creators. So every creator gets their own token. Not just like, oh, we have a token we're going to give you. No, every content creator has their own, and they can reward any one of their viewers. Like, I could give you guys Bear token right now. Actually, as a matter of fact, I probably should, right? I could give you Bear token, and you could go trade it for US dollars or Bitcoin or Ethereum, or you could spend it in our store to get discounted memberships. So, no, I don't think that Theta is going to surpass the ability to have like a Sam Colder token. Are you kidding me? Theta ain't got nothing. Like, Sam Colder has bigger distribution than all the fucking Theta. Who cares about the tech? Blu-ray was better than DVD, right? That didn't go so well. Vinyl is still better than fucking MP3s, but look at this. I don't use vinyl. I use a cell phone to play these degraded volume like MP3 formats. Whatever. It's not about that. We have to remember it's about the community that adopts these things. Again, so if Theta has the... I don't want to go too long on that one. Okay, you were wrong on Theta. Sure, that's great. I'm wrong on Theta. You're wrong on Theta. Great conversation. What do you think about the sandbox game? I'm not sure. I'm not much of a video game player, but I do know that kids love video games. I do know that there are kids that probably make more fucking money than me playing video games, so I'm not going to bet against that. Right, so again, there's a potential for a niche here. That's what Twitch did. Twitch took a niche and they were successful at that. If Theta finds a niche and it can be successful at that, well, that's great. But will they supplant YouTube? Highly unlikely. Not even close. Maybe YouTube could buy it. And then, but again, I think it's much more likely YouTube would adopt and just allow me to give you Bear tokens through the YouTube platform, and they would have nothing to do with whatever Bear token was, because they wouldn't be liable for any of the shit either. Sounds much more likely to me. Can you tweet when ETH is a good time to buy? No, but you can join our private Bear group where we go over those things all the time. And join now, because there's no risk for you, because if you pay and you don't like it, we'll give you your money back. Because if you don't like it, we don't want you there. It's a mastermind group, so we just try to help each other learn and grow. We're producing educational PDFs. We do webinars in the group. And I never tell anyone when they should buy, but I definitely tell you when I'm going long. And you can do whatever the hell you want, because that's definitely up to you. That's for sure. Just subbed, you're funny and I like bears. Thank you. I like live streams because I get to be a bit more ridiculous. Like, I don't get to be this ridiculous. Maybe we'll go back to the charts. I know we want to look at Link, so we'll go over Link. And Alex said he wanted to continue to see my pretty face. So here you go, Alex, just for you. We'll go in, we'll take a look at Link where you can also see my pretty face. So, I am not stopped out of my trade yet, but I'm very close to being stopped out of my Link trade. So I entered my Link trade at 10.3 to 11.3, and I have my stop at 11.7. Now, actually, maybe I already have gotten stopped out. I can't see unless I'm on a lower time frame. No, we are not yet. We're at 11.98 on Link, and we're about to stop me out. So if we stop me out here, not a great sign. And in general, I would want to be a little weary here. So if I get stopped out, I'm just going to wait till this trading range produces something more valuable. I mean, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but you could see a potential head and shoulders scenario here where you have another layer of distribution that comes down. We had speculated about that before. I don't have our older Link drawings up. We had drawn up price retractions down as low as $4 potentially. So if we see a big drawdown in Bitcoin and maybe in general, it could do that to the whole market. So our original regression line, if we were to draw it up here, I think is something like comes down as low as $5 to $7. So keep an eye on that. Again, I have my stop loss set. I haven't hit it yet. And this is an exotic play. So I'm in 10x leverage from 10.3 and 11.3 onwards. So if it comes back down, it just covers my trade basically. But because if this is proving out to be head and shoulders, which is not what we want to, again, we're in a bull market, so we don't want to assume that this is a head and shoulders, but we're going to want to keep a close eye on it because there is still that quick return down to $3 to build a potential lower area of accumulation. Now, we don't know, but we're in a pretty critical area to watch that one kind of form and take place. Thanks for sharing your perspective about theta. Yeah, I appreciate that. I love I love ranting. It's so much fun. I mean, you guys do your own due diligence. If you think theta is the next top shit, you do it every side. I just figured I'd give you an alternate perspective because if there's a bunch of you saying it, it means there's a bunch of you agreeing with it, and I'm here to then disagree with you, even if you might be right, because it's just an alternative perspective. And if you're still confident that you think it's the shit after I gave you reasons why I thought it wasn't, and you make that investment and you're right, well, hats off to you. And if you make that investment and you're wrong, well, hats off to you, because you made that investment, you put your money where your mouth is, and you decided what you wanted to do because you did what you thought was the smartest thing to do. And that's the way you should trade, you should invest, you should go off your own confidence, because look, I was wrong about Link. I didn't see Link coming when it first showed up. They would try to get on a podcast with us in 2017. I'm like, nah, I'm just going to focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum because I'm a fucking idiot. And I don't know what Link is and Oracle. Whatever. I didn't know. So I could be wrong. There's the obvious occasions where I am wrong. But I'm also willing to change my position once I'm wrong too. So if you did notice, I was in a long position for Link. Sandbox game is on Ethereum platform. Create your own land. Oh yeah, this is like Decentraland. I've seen stuff like this. Again, I think video games are good. Could you get Leanne on the show? I could ask Leanne. So Leanne Supernova is one of our private members. She's a great trader as well. She's very good at finding last moment breakouts at the back parts of it. She's been a big fan of hers as well. So grateful to have her in our private community and learning and growing with everyone. We're all learning and growing together. That's what I love about the community the most, is that we all can go through that process of with like-minded people that have similar interests, and just no politics in the group. I can live stream shit talk about politics. I will, because none of you guys can argue with each other afterwards, but no politics in the private group. None of that. Okay. I agree on your vision as stated. The thing is not the only way doing video. For Link, I had $2,000 become $50,000. Fantastic. Great entry. Sounds like you got in near 2017. Good time to buy more BTC, Link, ETH. Yes, we're getting there for sure. Curious Cat says, what are your core positions at this point? Bitcoin, Ethereum. I've started to build an avalanche and just started taking small bites out of things like Wi-Fi and Aave because I don't know where their proper valuation is at, so I'm just buying weekly at a few like kind of bang for your buck DeFi areas. Chicago Brew says, if you want to own Theta, then buy Theta. You do not need permission. It may go back to 30 cents. Yeah, depends on your motive, time spare. Yeah, I just do whatever you guys think is right. No, I'm just giving you my alternative perspective. You look back to Theta does besides video solutions. Dive in and let us know. I still like all you say. Yeah, again, this is not about like it's not a personal thing. Like, I don't care what Theta does. I've thought about it a little bit, and I don't think that it's providing the solution that people need, right? And that's a big deal. Are you providing a real solution for something? And often, like even with Ethereum, we didn't even know all the solutions that it was capable of providing us in the first place. We had to like find out what it's all capable of. We're still finding out what things like Ethereum are capable of. It's an important thing to recognize, I think. Okay, great, guys. Thank you. We're going to leave it at that. It's been a long episode. I really appreciate that. We went live kind of last minute here. Well, let's see. Yeah, I went whoa, T-Ho, whoa. Went live last minute here to well, I wanted to catch that price drop, and I wanted to remind everyone that this is really ultimately a time to remember that we're in a bull market. Look how dark it is in here right now. Like, Jesus, T-Ho. We're fixing the wall so I have a better podcast center, and because of that, all the stuff's moved around. Yeah, so remember what we're doing here is still finding better positions for our final positions for our longs. And I think that we're probably going to get till March to do that, February effectively. So it's super exciting. Happy to be here with all you guys. I think it's really, really fun to be in the bull market. The accumulation ranges is kind of boring. Thank you all for supporting the show over the years, for leaving all your thoughts, your comments, your feedback, for all the times you give us likes. Every time you guys share videos, it helps us grow this channel. I've had so much fun with this. You know what's fun? It's been a long time. Let's maybe end this evening of this live stream with a little bit of Tiho playing guitar for no reason other than it'll be fun. So we're going to end it with this. Just a quick little ditty, I think. And that way, this will effectively be the outro. Now, this is a song I wrote like a little while ago. Good. I'm so glad the guitar's still in tune. Yeah. Yes. See, I love that I can be a little random with you guys and do stuff like play the guitar and have that freedom to not just talk about prices and asset volatility. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys all for joining us. Steve with the Arcane Bear. I'm going to go play the guitar by myself. Thank you guys. I had a great time tonight. We'll do another live stream tomorrow. And we will see you guys. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Look at that. We're going to do a live stream tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be one step closer to this podcast place being finished. And guys, I am going to have to move out to go to Mexico. Maybe I'm going to go to Guatemala. Maybe I'm going to go to Iceland or Dubai. I'm not really sure. But let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know what countries you guys like. I want to try to find somewhere where I can go work for a month or two, get out of Costa Rica for a little bit. I'll come back home eventually. But I want to try to satiate some of this travel bug. Maybe I'll go to Canada. I'm not really sure yet, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. We'll see you guys again on the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this evening. Oh, wait, and look, I've got an outro. Actually, it didn't work. I didn't realize, but all the sizing is messed up. Hold on, let's try this again. You guys are ready for this? We're gonna try this again.